Welcome to Big Blend Radio's art show featuring Victoria Chick, a contemporary figurative artist and early 19th and 20th century print collector. So welcome everyone. You know, Victoria Chick is here every third Saturday talking about art and the world of art history. Today she is going to be talking about her downtown here on Big Blend Radio. We're doing a bunch of features covering historic villages, downtowns, historic plazas. You know, it's really about the hubs of a community. And those kind of communities are like places where you can walkable, where you can walk down the street, go to dinner, maybe go to the theater, maybe go get something sewn or mended. It is a actual working downtown area or an old town or a plaza, like I was saying. Because she's in the Southwest, I can say plaza, but Silver City, New Mexico, where Victoria is based, is an incredible art town. And the downtown is a main street. And I remember when Victoria got Nancy and I and her husband Mike got Nancy and I to come downtown for the first time to Silver City. She's like, well, you know, we moved here. You need to come. And so we're like, okay, we'll get in the car and come visit. And we did. And now we're on the tour and we visit every time we can. They did a song from the downtown song. They did a video of everyone singing in the downtown. Do you remember that, Victoria? I think it was Nick.
Oh, yes.
Nick, who was at the Downtown Association at the time, started that and did that, where everyone was singing
right.
different parts of it, of down. I'm going to see if we can find this on YouTube. But it was the coolest thing because it was about going downtown, get a gelato, go to Diane's restaurant. And now
Right.
it seems like the city, Silver City it's not a city. It is, but it's not. There's so much. It's a vibrant art community within this historic downtown that's kept its buildings.
Right. Absolutely. And we moved here, 22 years. It's been since we moved here. And I never get tired of it. I never get tired of going downtown. I never get tired of visiting with people that sometimes I don't know them, and we just strike up a conversation. And Silver City's kind of like that. You know, everything is laid back. We have a lot of fun. There's a lot of there's some good businesses here. So there are people who are working, definitely. But there's also a lot of retired people here. So they come from all over and from all walks of life. We've got people who've done significant things in their lives decide that this is where they want to be. And I felt the same way, and I totally understand how they feel. So, and we're glad we're here.
I think it's such a beautiful place. And for folks tuning in for the first time too, have maybe not heard about Silver City with us. Silver City is in Southwest New Mexico. So it is really close to Tucson, Arizona. You may see Lordsburg on the highway as you're driving from Las Cruces across, it is beautiful. It's also home to the Gila National Forest, the Gila Wilderness, Gila Cliff Dwellings National Monument. That area is really popular. It's actually one of our first forest and wilderness areas in the country, thanks to Aldo Leopold and Teddy Roosevelt with the Antiquities Act, and the Gila National Monument is one of our first. So Silver City itself is this historic downtown, but there's so many artists spread out all over as well, but they bring their art into the town, right? That's what happens in the downtown.
We've got lots of galleries. Silver City actually has maybe 10,000 people on a regular basis here on a hot day. Usually several hundred maybe tourists in the area at any given time. And one of the things that I think is wonderful for tourism is the fact that our temperature. We have a very moderate temperature compared to, let's say, Albuquerque or Las Cruces, or definitely Tucson and Phoenix. So when people say we're in the Southwest, I don't want them to think that we're hot, okay? Because we're at a high elevation, and that really moderates our temperatures. If you see a forecast of 100 degrees in Albuquerque, we're going to be 15 degrees below that. We're at 85. So it's really, really nice. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Well, I know a lot of people that go over to you from like Tucson because it's cooler too.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I did want to, as we were talking about this, I do want to touch on this because I think it's important that people know there's been a lot of wildfires, as there normally are in the West. the Great
Yes.
West, I mean, including the Southwest, during the summer all the way through fall. And Silver City did make some news of having some wildfires around you guys. But so as we talk and promote this wonderful, vibrant downtown and city, which has wonderful walking trails, and we're going to get into all of that, a wonderful visitor center too that has art on it. And a solar powered visitor center. I wanted to make sure people knew that you guys were all safe. I know
Yeah.
fires, there is always damage somewhere. So to all who have gone through that, our hearts are with you because it's never fun.
Yeah.
But I think our country at this point is really going through a lot of damage. But I want people to know that you're open, right? So people can come back
Oh,
up
yes.
if they're
You
wondering
know,
about.
when I knew I was going to write this article, I went and talked to the woman who's the director of Main Street to find out if the fire near us had affected business downtown. That was we are mediated in this particular fire. We were mediated by the fact that most of our breezes come from the southwest. They're coming from next, the coast, the west coast. So the wind was blowing the smoke away from Silver City almost
Mm,
every day. Every day we didn't have a smoke problem. As far as fire goes, there were some areas that were scorched badly. There's no sense not letting people know that. If people have been to the Mimbres or gone on one particular trail, they're going to be unhappy if they expect it to be exactly like it was. But
mm.
I know from being a tourist in other areas, the Sierras, for instance, and I've gone through areas where it's been burned out, and that's sad, but it comes back. And it's
Yes.
surprising to me how fast it comes back, especially if you have aspen trees, but all these giant ponderosas and other kinds of pine trees that are around here, they need fire to grow new pine trees. There are a lot of vegetation, a lot of vegetation that requires heat to
Hmm.
open the seed pods. So it's a cycle. It's life. We don't always appreciate fire, but it does have its uses.
It does come back. I mean, Nancy and I have been in wildfires, as you know, and you have for sure.
Yeah, right.
Personally, I just get to this point of, yeah, just kind of understand that there's a come and go of life. It's like, and
Right.
that's with things. And so in
Yeah.
travel, the one thing we can do is go visit those places that have been affected by a disaster in any way. Like I say this about Asheville, North Carolina over and over. Go visit. Not visiting
Yeah.
hurts. And
Yeah.
even if it's just for a cup of coffee and to show some support with even a smile and a hello, that hey, we see
Yeah.
you, we have not forgotten about you. Actually, just there's a mental health wellness kind of spirituality of it, of just being
Yeah.
there. And you don't have to be, a millionaire that goes in and donates everything in your bank account. You can go just have a cup of coffee and people will be
Right.
happy just for that and some support. And I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
And Silver City has been through a lot of that. Silver City has the history of the flood that created a wonderful public space
Yes.
called the Big Ditch. And it really is. And this
Oh,
is part of the downtown is the Big Ditch.
right.
Yeah. And it
Right.
was a woman engineer who made the Big Ditch, right? That helped all of it. It was a woman engineer. I think it's pretty cool history that you have
Yeah.
on the Big.
Yeah. And it's interesting. She was an added background in engineering, but her business was selling insurance, and
That's funny.
her house was the only one that survived the flood. So I think that was really funny. But the Big Ditch is a fun place to go. It's not like the Alamo because you got enough water for boating, but it's a beautiful riparian area full of birds, full of bushes, full of trees that are natural. And there's a spring-fed stream that goes through it, and there's a walkway that runs the length of it in town. And so a lot of people just go down there because in the summer it's 50 feet below the rest of town because it just when the flood came through, it just scoured everything down to bedrock. And so it's very cool. And
It's
there's benches
cool.
to sit on.
The New
It's like
Mexico
it,
birding
it's
trail too.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Mm.
So it's a pretty asset, I think, for the downtown area.
Well,
Um,
also, you can get into the downtown really easy from there. I've seen the farmers market happen from there. Murals are everywhere. How many murals are in Silver City in general, do you think? I mean,
well,
it's kind of
well,
growing.
just in the downtown area, I think it approaches 11, I think, approaches, but there's always one in progress. So the mural program is done. They call it the youth mural program for a good reason, because it's the young people that actually do the work. They design it. They have a lead artist who's a professional artist. She gets their ideas. She encourages them to come up with ideas. What can we add here? What's Silver City to you? So she elicits all this information, and she has them put it down together. They draw a plan, and they find a business, which is usually not hard to do because people love our murals. So one of the businesses in town will say, "I would like to have a mural on my wall." And so that business then approves the design that they've come up with, and the kids do the painting, or if it's painting, because sometimes it's like a mosaic made out of broken up tile. And
Mm.
business owner, if it's paint involved, any kind of inspections, the business owner pays for the expenses of putting it together, which is great. And the kids do all the work. And
Oh.
I think it's especially nice because these murals are fabulous. They look, they're from the heart, and
Mm.
they're very professionally completed. And the other thing that you won't find a lot of graffiti in Silver City because the mural program is respected by all the other kids, even the ones that aren't participating in doing it, that they respect what other kids have done.
Mm.
So
Agreed.
our leader there is to be commended for putting it all together. And I was reading an article from a newspaper. Oh gosh, 35 years ago maybe. And there was a big brouhaha because people weren't sure they wanted a mural program in town. Some people were, very much against it. I don't know what they thought, but the people who wanted the mural program uh, convinced convinced enough people that went into production that long ago, and it's kept going ever since.
That's
So there are,
such a
besides
cool thing.
murals in Silver City, they've spread out. Some of the local communities nearby have have murals as a result also.
So this is, the mural thing to me is huge, especially when you're talking about, the kids getting involved, right? So I think that's
Yeah, I
part
mean,
of
yeah,
the huge thing
because
with this.
yeah, I don't. I mean, there's murals all over. Towns respect the value that a mural gives their town, and that's really good. I think we're blessed here because we've got a lot of young people that are interested in doing art, and
Mm.
so we don't have to bring anybody in to do a mural for us.
Well, now we want to talk about art because it's an art town. And I remember when we first went there, and which was like 20 years ago, right? When we went to see you and
Right,
Mike, and then kept visiting. And you said this is an art town. And I know you specifically wanted an art town, right? Too. You wanted to be involved in that as an artist.
right.
Um, but wasn't it designated as an art town? Like there's a designation that happens that
Well, yes,
says,
yes.
or a creative,
A lot.
like a creative city, you know?
It sort of happened, but what really boosted it as to be able to say it was a recognized art town was a guy named John Villani who wrote a book, 100 Best Art Towns in America, and Silver City was included in that. And so it's interesting how a designation can then start bringing other artists into town because as far as an art town, it's really grown since it was first designated.
Huh. So
So
this is,
we've got
yeah.
there are hundreds of artists here, and there are anywhere between 18 and 25 galleries in the downtown area, which is great. They also have with all the artists once a year they have an art studio tour. So that and because some artists live in the they live in the forest, some artists live down by the river, some artists live on a ranch. So the tour can get quite broad in the distance that people go. But everybody really likes it because you get to see, talk to the artists and see how they work and ask questions, etc. So it is fun.
And the other thing is a lot of the events. Silver City is host to so many events, and I think one of the ones for the downtown is like the ones you're talking about, the studio tour or the walking tour, right? That's normally in
Yeah.
October, right? That they do that. Is the Clay Festival, and I think we're getting close to that, or is it like here already? The Clay Festival.
Well, yes, it's usually July and lapping over into August a little bit. Clayfest has always been a wonderful, wonderful festival. I think this year, uh, it has not been as advertised as it should
Okay.
be. The person who who started it years ago had to bow out, and so we're having a hard time finding as good an organizer as she's been. With the Clay Festival really respects clay in all its forms. So it's not just pottery, it's not just bowls and utilitarian items. It also goes so far as house building with dirt or making adobe. There were things that teach you how to do that. So it's usually like at least a week long, and we have experts from all over. So I'm hoping by next year that the Clay Festival will be really outstanding again.
And
But
also, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I say another festival that's coming up that people will enjoy is the Print Fiesta. Print is in printmaking, and we get people from all over the United States for the print festival. The downtown is kind of part of it, partly roped off. We have a large piece of equipment to be our printing press. The other part of the printing press is the street. So we that's always a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun to see a print on a large scale be accomplished with a heavy machinery, and there will be printmakers from all over selling their wares.
That's cool. That's cool. I remember,
Yeah.
and I know you've had so many festivals now. The one thing that downtown also has, and I do want to get back to the art because of what you're doing with the museum too, creating you and amazing volunteers too, creating the Southwest Art Museum. This is something really cool. It's a Southwest Regional Museum of Art and Art Center. The link is in the episode with Victoria's link to her article about Silver City as well. It is southwest-art-museum.org, which is really going to be this huge addition to Silver City. But I did want to go to the downtown. When you talk about art, you do have museums, you do have these amazing historic buildings. And I think this is
Yes.
why, doing the art museum is going to be this incredible addition. It just heightens it all, but you also have historic theaters. So just like I want everyone to see the scope of everything. And then when the museum comes in, which people can see the art online and everything, right? But when it comes in to town, it just kind of seals the deal of like, yes, we're an art town. We have music, we have
Yes.
culinary arts going, we have theater. I mean, that's where I'm going with this. So people realize it's like it's a little bit of everything is going on for the art.
Yeah, and one thing my article didn't mention is the fact that we are a university town. It's been a wonderful relationship. I know many times towns and universities don't get along, but we have been blessed with a good relationship with the university, and there's a historical museum at the university that we wouldn't want to miss if we visit Silver City. There's usually things going on, stay any amount of time. You might even catch a football game. Uh, it's always good if you're visiting, to pay attention to what's going on at the university, because it's just another source of things to do that are fun and educational. So I'm glad you mentioned the museum, though, because that's going to be a big deal. We're calling it going to be the new jewel of the Southwest, and we have high plans for it, and we have all the artwork ready to go. Now we just need a building, so that's what we're working on.
It's exciting though. It really is.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's not just exciting. It's exciting for us. It's because we see it as such a benefit to everybody in the southwest part of New Mexico and beyond.
So
We haven't talked about food. Food has changed. It's in and it's food at one time before COVID, and I hate saying before COVID because
Yeah.
it changed a lot of things. But we are overcoming COVID. Okay, we are in the OC overcoming COVID part of life, and because tourism was went down during COVID, a lot of our restaurants really struggled. So I want to let you know, let listeners know that Diane's restaurant is back, and we're also happy about that. They're going to have a new menu every week. So, and they're specializing in comfort food. If you so anyway, that sounds exciting, and we're looking forward to making a reservation ourselves. But there's a lot of the places have new restaurants. One thing about like art galleries and restaurants go in and out, and I think
Hmm.
people come in sometimes they're just undercapitalized, even though they have really good ideas. So
Yeah.
we have Roxy's Diner, Corner Kitchen, Jalisco's, is an old standby
Yeah.
restaurant, and Adobe
Yeah.
Springs is here.
I remember
Most of the
Halise.
things, everything's casual in Silver City, so you really don't need a reservation. You might want to make one for Diane's restaurant because you want to make sure you can get in on the day they're open. Uh, the other restaurant is Nick's 33, which is a new restaurant, sort of. It's a small restaurant. They have prime beef and a good wine list. So that you do need a reservation for Mix 33. They also have music, and music is a big thing in Silver City.
Well, I know our
It's
friend Wally Lauder plays at Mix because he plays
yes,
upstairs, and so he gets
okay,
to play upstairs, and everybody enjoys his music there. He plays there all the time. I'm always going. I don't remember Mix, but I remember him playing at the Opera House. I don't know if and that's in Pinos Altos, but
yeah,
we're talking about the downtown.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
downtown, I mean, that's the thing is, and Diane's had live music at a time too. I don't know if they'll be
yes.
doing that more, but so live music, the theaters are both
Well,
theaters open? What's happening with the theaters?
yes. Well, of course, now we've got the Silco Theater. That's a movie theater, first run movies. It's a old building, and was built in the 1930s when Art Deco was popular. So they have restored it in an Art Deco mode. So it's really nice. Chairs are really comfortable. There's a snack bar that they, like I say, first run movies. When you see something advertised, it's probably down there already. So um,
Yeah.
you mentioned music. Silver City is such a great music town. We noticed it when we first moved here. If you went downtown, there was music coming from every other doorway. I mean, even the gelato place had live music. So every bar has some music. Some of the restaurants do, not all of them. There are things going on at the university too. Silver City visitors are always welcome to go to things, special programs at the university. Oh, let's see.
You
What am I
got you
leaving out?
you got the unit. No, there's just you're doing good here. I mean, it's just hard because there is a ton in Silver City and it's a small
Yeah.
downtown, but the buildings itself, I think a lot of people go, "Oh, you got to talk about the Tranquil Buzz Coffee House." Now, this is like a
So,
institution. If we don't bring that up, everyone's going to yell at us, from and then
what
wait,
you
there's
cannot.
Birdwell's, the Javelina, right? So the coffee shop
Yep.
thing is a big deal.
Yes. The coffee shop. Maybe everywhere has coffee shops, but nobody has a coffee shop like the Buzz. The Tranquil Buzz is so mellow. You have coffee, yes, but you have an atmosphere and an outdoor surrounding that is different than any other coffee shop. And I can't recommend it enough. But if you like to just chat and have coffee, and if you're doing business and you want to show somebody something, I would recommend that you go to Birdwell's, because
Hmm.
Birdwell's is quiet. It has tables and chairs, and if you need to lay something out, it's great. Just a second,
Isn't it funny, Victoria? Because the Tranquil Buzz is chattery because that's the gossip section of town. Yeah.
we had somebody visit us. They were from Arkansas. They stayed at a hotel downtown, and then they walked around in the next morning, and they were going to go to a coffee shop. Well, they stumbled into the Tranquil Buzz, and it was like they were transformed to hear them talk. they said that they've been all over the United States, and they said we were just at the best best coffee shop we've ever been to, and it was a Tranquil Buzz.
It's an institution. It is. Well, okay. So is the historic hotel downtown? I mean, you've got a couple actually, as I recall, the Palace, and then the other one, the Art Deco one.
Yep.
I don't know if its name is still the same. That's why I'm kind of stumbling on that.
Well, there's one called Javelina, but Java, as in Java, as in coffee.
Oh,
Javalina. Who don't
Javelina.
know,
Like, okay.
Javelina is a wild animal here, so that's very good too. Their coffee is very good.
No, I'm
And
talking about
they're
hotels. Hotels.
okay. The hotel that's the Murray Hotel,
The Murray Hotel.
which is
Yeah. So is that still going?
gosh, yes, yeah. It's
Fantastic.
it's it's in fact they're probably going to put a restaurant in this year,
Wow. Because for
and
for people who love
a bar and
art,
a restaurant.
yeah, if people love art and art history and modernism and Art Deco, this would be because that's the other thing. There is a hint of modernism going through that as much as it does have some Art Deco going on in Silver City and also
What
frontier architect. The architecture is all over the place, you know.
yeah. Well, it's interesting. There's a book written by a local lady, and she talks about the architecture in Silver. But one of the reasons that Silver City, I think, has kept going is because most of the buildings are made of brick or they're made of adobe, and they didn't burn. Because you look at all these old Western towns, their biggest reason for being obliterated was they would catch on fire
Mm,
because
that's right.
they were made of wood, and they were one they shared walls. So if
Mm.
one would go, it was easy for the whole town to go. So uh, Silver City is built to last, and that's the name of the book. Uh,
That's
but
right. Susan
when you go
Berry.
down when
Was
you
it
go
Susan
downtown,
Berry?
yes,
Susan
Susan
Berry.
Berry. Right.
Yeah.
When you go downtown, you see all these different kinds of architecture from the beginning, but they're very sturdy buildings. We talk about adobe, being able to melt with with enough water, but that just didn't happen here.
See, that's
So
well, but you had smart women. You had Madam Millie and the
yeah,
engineer of the big ditch. So
yes,
that's
yes,
I'm giving them
and we
the
still have smart women here
yes, you did. You
and
got
men.
you. You got you. And a lot of
So
others, a lot of other wonderful women that we know in Silver City, New Mexico. Yeah, I mean, so it's part of that. So the Murray Hotel is still there. What about the Palace? Is it the Palace? I remember.
they're both yes, they're both going institutions. So
Wow.
either one of those are great. There are also bed and breakfast downtown. There's places where you can park your RV and camp. There's one on not downtown, but just a few blocks away. So that's
Wow.
close.
Wow.
And another besides the blues festival, which is every Memorial weekend, you also have the Southwest Print Festival. I mentioned there's a professional rodeo every year,
The
and
Gila
also
River.
yes, I was just going to bring that one up because it's coming up. And so that's always very interesting because there's a lot of educational stuff and fun stuff in and about the river when we have the Gila River Festival. And we also have the Tour of the Gila International Bike Race, which was just over.
The River
There's something,
Festival's coming. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So it's coming soon. So I would recommend if anybody is interested in coming up to Silver City, the first thing that they should do is go online and go to a site called Visit Silver City, and it will list everything that's going on, coming up, about to happen. So
Yeah, visit
that's a good.
silvercity.org. It's in the link, everybody in the episode notes. You'll see Victoria's article link and everything's in there. I do want to bring up something. There's two things we didn't touch on in gallery modes. Okay, so you talk about Tumbleweed Gallery being something that people should check out for printing, right? That's like print. And then Light Art Space. And
Mhm.
then there's one that I don't know how you spelled this out or pronounce it.
That's how he spells it out. A space. It's called
Space.
A space, and it's a fun place. The guy that owns it, Jean Paul Befort, he's a wonderful guy. He is a Vietnam vet, I think, who lost limbs in the war, and he operates this. And he's an artist himself, and he operates this wonderful art space. where you can go in and make stuff if you want to, or just look around if you want to do that. But it's quite a place, and I think anybody would enjoy going.
Very cool. And then, okay, so the thing about Silver City is how you enter it, okay? And one
Yeah.
of the things Silver City has, it's got a wonderful visitor center, beautiful art on this on around it, really. Parking, you can go in. It's right at the big ditch. So if you want to walk, you can park there, walk into the big ditch and go into downtown from there. There's a solar thing there that's charging the visitor center. Next to, adjacent to the visitor center, is the Billy the Kid cabin. Can we talk about that? Because I think that's an
Yes.
important thing that not all downtowns, but it's a
Well,
replica
you
of the cabin of what he would have
yeah.
lived in when he lived there. Because Billy the Kid lived in Silver City for a while with his mama.
He did. He did. That cabin was given to the town by Ron Howard, the movie director, and so it was a replica of Billy the Kid cabin. Billy the Kid didn't live here too long. He got in trouble. I know, it's hard to believe that he would get in trouble. His mother's grave is here. He got in trouble here. He was put in jail, but he escaped and he went to Lincoln County, which is also in New Mexico, toward the east part of the state. He came to a bad end in the eastern part of New Mexico. But before he came to a bad end, he did a lot of stuff that was not was illegal. So, but it's interesting how a town winds up with a mascot who's a bandito. But
Yeah, but it's part of
I mean, I lived
I like
in
it.
Missouri, and everybody there knew Jesse James. And probably other people have been placed. They're famous from Bonnie and Clyde.
Or
So
Wyatt
I don't
Earp.
know how that happened.
Yeah, we just did a area called Stringtown, Oklahoma. Tiny,
Uh-huh.
tiny. I mean, like tiny. And it's where Bonnie and Clyde hung out and hid out.
Yeah.
And the town knew it and they took care of people there. Then, anyway, we could go on that. That's a whole other thing. Like Wyatt Earp. Nancy's into the whole Wyatt Earp story now, but these outlaws sometimes did really good things. You have Madam Millie in downtown
Yes.
Silver City, who was a madam and also did a whole bunch for young women in all kinds of ways, but also helped education. So she was, a madam. She ran a
Yeah.
brothel, but she also did her fair share of donating towards the community. So
Yes, she did. Madam Millie was born in Kansas City.
no
And
way. I'm just
yeah.
sitting here because
Now,
we're in Kansas
I think
City as we're recording this, everyone. That's why I said that. That's
so
hysterical.
her parents, she weren't present, okay? She had a sister who was younger, a lot younger. I mean, because Madam Millie, when she was orphaned, was about 11 years old, maybe 12. And she had a younger sister. And so she was trying to work. She was trying to support her sister so they could live. She was attacked, possibly raped, I'm not sure, and what is now the farmers market area of Kansas City. And I'm not sure, she left town, but I'm not sure where she went initially, but she wound up in Silver City. So she might have been not even quite 20 when she arrived here. And by this time she had a lot of street smarts. And so she set up herself first as a madam, and then she would hire other girls. Silver City was mining town. I don't know. Anyway, she operated. She had a business sense, and so she she wound up with a brothel here is located on now on near quite near the post where the post office is now. She was she was apparently a wonderful person, to talk to. She had a good heart. She helped people. People liked her, even if they didn't use her services. I don't know how well all the women liked her, but she got along with everybody, I think. Well,
Quite like Mae West, like come up and see me
and
sometime.
and she did a good enough business that she went to other places, other towns, and started brothels there, and so she would get a cut of what these other people were doing in other cities.
Oh my
She
gosh,
was
so she
she
was
was
franchising brothels.
she was franchising before it became popular.
Oh
She
my
was she
gosh.
was an interesting person.
Okay, so we're
And
going to have to go look up while we're here in Kansas City at a Millie. We're going to have to look her up and see, if we can find something of her. That's it's a connection
oh, I don't
back
think
to
I
Silver
don't.
City.
Yeah, I don't think they. But now I doubt if they even know who Madame Millie is in
But
Kansas
isn't that
City. Yeah,
amazing? Like history,
yeah,
because you lived out here,
yeah.
in this region. And so, wow, I'm not saying you ran a brothel or anything, Victoria, but we're talking.
So,
This is cool. This is cool. But the other thing I wanted to also bring up about Silver City, and I think it's so sad when towns let this kind of thing go. And hopefully they
yeah,
bring it back, is the big welcome sign. And we're not talking the ones at the side of the road. We're talking about the archway signs of a destination. We were actually recently, was it Gulfport, Florida that had one? I might be wrong, but there was something that like makes you kind of slow down and stop and realize you're reaching someplace special where the community has
yeah.
pride, and Silver City
Right,
has a downtown arching, the arch across the two
right.
street, across the street, which I should say, not the two streets, but it's like both, it
The
goes on
entry to
both
downtown.
sides.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's huge. I mean, our national parks, some of them have that, but this is a biggie for towns, and it was a historic thing way back when, and Silver City kept it, and I think that's amazing that you have that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I'm
the arch.
I think we can thank Lee Gruber, I think, for that
She did
arch
that?
sign.
Syzygy tile, yeah. That's amazing to
Anyway,
keep that going. So Silver City, everyone, visit silvercity.org is the website. It is definitely a destination. Summer, spring, summer, fall. Winter, it gets a little frosty, but there's still a bunch to do in the downtown. There's just go. That's all I can say. If you're anywhere near Tucson or Las
d-
Cruces, going south from Albuquerque or Santa Fe, you must go. And it's a beautiful drive, by the way, from Albuquerque down to
yeah.
Silver City is spectacular.
Well, I'll say you're saying just go, and I will say we'll be glad to see you.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Victoria. It's fun doing a different version of your show today. And I'm glad you rediscovered you got to play vacation, staycation, I should say, in your own community. But it is good to revisit everything. I think
It is.
we take things for granted sometimes in communities and get so used to things that we forget, like who's new, what's going on, to kind of take that kind of look at it. So everyone, again, Victoria's articles in the episode notes. Thanks so much, Victoria. Looking forward to next month, who we'll be talking about the artist Arthur Kraft, right? That's who we'll be talking about. So everyone stay tuned for that.
He's an interesting guy.
With penguins. Seriously, y'all. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. You can view Victoria Chick's artwork at victoriachick.com. Keep up with us at bigblendradio.com.